What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so for the second time, twice in 6 months, folks. Twice in 6 months. Check this out. Cambodia to nominate Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for helping broker peace deal with Thailand. I don't know why I said it like that. My last video, which was just seconds ago for me, I said Maxwell. And I don't know why. Words are coming out of my mouth kind of funny. And look, I've already read this news article. There's going to be some names in here that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. So if you guys want to make fun of me and laugh at me, don't. Or do it down in the comments section. Just stop making fun of me, by the way. That's not nice. But y'all can admonish me down in the comments section for mispronunciations, if you will. But let's go ahead and get into this thing right quick, because Donald Trump just keeps racking up them wins, y'all. Cambodia floated plans Friday to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize for working to broker a ceasefire agreement that helped the country end its border war with Thailand. Now, I almost covered this news article the other day when the ceasefire broke out, if you will. Donald Trump once again injecting himself in here. And as a matter of fact, this is why I say he's an economic president. Because what president in recent history, like I'm talking decades, recent history, has used economics to broker peace? That's what Donald Trump did. He threatened them on social media, threatened Thailand and Cambodia. If you guys don't stop fighting, you're not getting a trade deal. We're not going to negotiate. You're just going to get tariffed into oblivion. Once again, folks, I love what Donald Trump is doing. His agenda has just been unleashed, it seems like. This is way better than his first term, right? He is using every lever he can. But what's fascinating about that, I want to talk about right quick, because it's a motor mouth kind of day, so I apologize for that. But something I want to talk about right quick, to all the dissenters out there that keep saying, oh, the tariffs are the sky is falling stuff. Tariffs are bad for the economy. The tariffs are going to just completely wreck our economy, by the way. People keep saying, oh, it's just a tax on you and blah, 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 blah. Well, then, once again, answer me this. Why would the threat of tariffs cause two belligerent countries to stop fighting if it's just a tax on American citizens and it has nothing to do with them? Why? Somebody answer that down in the comments section. I know what you might be thinking. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't think of this, but I'll give you one. Oh, it's because they're worried about sales going down or whatever. No, I'm sorry. Not a good answer. Even still, there's the rest of the world to purchase items. That is not it, folks. It is because they don't want to be wrecked economically by having to pay these tariffs, right? They get paid at the port of entry. That's something Lawrence O'Donnell says is correct, but it's not paid by you at the port of entry. It's not paid by the distributor at the port of entry. It is paid by the shipping company. And where do they get that money from? They get that money from the company themselves when it's shipped out, because that shipping company is not responsible for paying tariffs. The company is. Once again, folks, now, the tariff price, some of that tariff will translate into the actual MSRP or whatever you want to call it, the manufactured retail price or whatever. Some of that will translate over. Some of that tariff. Abso-freaking-lutely. But the point of the tariff is the company is absorbing the majority. That's what we're seeing. That's why it's a win. Because Donald Trump took one of the left's agenda items, taxed the corporations, and he put a twist on it, folks. This is why the left should absolutely be cheering for this, but because it's Donald Trump, they're not. Not only is it protecting our own manufacturing base and companies within the United States so they can have the ability to sell more product, but it is also taxing the corporations. Right? This is something that the left should be cheering for. Taxing the big corporations. But they want the federal government to tax American corporations. Well, Donald Trump said, no, screw that. We're going to tax foreign companies. Why the hell not? And the left is losing their mind over it. Saying, oh, the sky is falling is a coping mechanism for the left. So they can get out from underneath their own principles on this one. But let's keep going. I know, I'm sorry I rambled for freaking ever. But I'm going to try to ram through the news right quick, y'all. He should get the Nobel. Not only for his work on Cambodia, but also elsewhere. They're talking about Pakistan and India. Cambodian Prime Minister Sun Chanthol said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, adding that Phnom Penh will present the president's name to the Norwegian Nobel Committee. Trump warned last week that if cross-border fighting, which lasted for 5 days between Cambodia and Thailand, did not end soon, neither nation would reach a trade agreement with the U.S. The president spoke with Thailand's acting prime minister and Cambodian prime minister on Monday, sharing that the neighboring countries reached a ceasefire and peace. After the pause in fighting was reached, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt wrote on social media platform X that Trump made this happen. She added in her Monday post, "Give him the Nobel Peace Prize." The truce was brokered in Malaysia, negotiations that were attended by U.S. government officials. The war between the two nations killed at least 45 people and displaced more than 300,000 residents on both sides. The Trump administration said last week that both Thailand and Cambodia will have their goods subject to a 19% tariff. Trump initially threatened to impose a 49% tariff on Cambodia's items coming into the U.S., later lowering it to 36%. On Wednesday, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick revealed that the two nations had reached trade agreements with the U.S., though few details were provided. Since returning to office, Trump has been recommended to receive the prestigious award by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Pakistani officials, and a handful of Republican lawmakers and conservative pundits. Maybe they're talking about me. I highly doubt it. But look, he should. If he can get Russia and Ukraine to stop being freaking belligerent and get them to sit down and shut up and get back to normality, and he can also broker some sort of peace between Israel and Gaza, which I think is coming soon, because the sentiment towards Israel right now is just, it's not getting any better for Israel. They just continue to push the issue, and people just aren't having it. Like we had the other day, I don't know how many countries pretty much threaten Israel by saying, we're going to do this or this or this, and soon we're going to recognize Palestinian statehood, trying to get that to the UN. So the UN will recognize Palestinian statehood, and then there can be intervention in that war if that happens. It's a long way off, we'll put it that way, from what was just said, but it sends a strong statement, as a matter of fact. Very strong statement. Which is odd, too, because I forget what it's called right off the top of my head, and I apologize for that, but it's basically like a League of Nations type of thing for the Arab world. Come out the other day and condemned Hamas, as a matter of fact, which was shocking, to say the least. That they got the entirety of the Arab world to come together and release a statement in agreement that Hamas should be condemned outright, and they should stop hostilities and return all of the hostages just immediately. I was shocked when I saw that. That was another news article I almost covered, but I kind of don't know a whole lot about what's going on over there. I do have opinions from what I see, but I'm not like in depth into that stuff, so I tend to try to stay away from foreign policy stuff. But this is great. Trump is winning. He's doing a lot of good wins. I knew this was going to be kind of a short news article. That's kind of why I'm kind of filibustering a little bit, doing my pundit thing, if you will. I never did like that word, by the way. I'm just a commentator, if you will. I like to talk sometimes, which is odd, because if you knew me in person, you'd be like, is that the same freaking dude? Because I'm the guy that, like, at work, or I don't have any friends at all, to be honest with you, but at work, I'm over here just working. I'd much prefer to be by myself on a consistent basis. I don't talk much. If somebody comes up and starts a conversation, Sure, I'll talk to them. You know, I'm not going to avoid conversation or anything like that. But I definitely won't start a conversation. That's for damn sure. So when you know my coworkers see me doing this right here, they're like, "What the is going on with you?" Like, I don't know. I just like talking to a camera, I guess. And maybe it's because I don't talk to people and I don't have any friends that I can go and talk. But, you know, that's by choice. I just don't like people, to be honest with you, because people are pricks. And I like to do my own thing, right? But I don't talk to people, so it's like kind of weird to see me talking like this. And, you know, honestly, if you want a good laugh, straight up, go to my video archive, and at the top, you'll see like popular, latest, and oldest. Click the oldest and watch those first few videos. It's cringeworthy, folks. I pretty much self-taught on how to speak to a camera and get out here. I just decided one day, this is what I want to do, so I did it. And I just did it over and over and over and over again until the point to where I can sit here and just conversate with a freaking camera and just go back and forth and just keep talking and blah, 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 and just keep speaking on and on and on and on and on. Used to, if you watch those first few videos, you'll notice like there's a cut like every few seconds. I would say a sentence and then I would have to stop because I couldn't think of what to say next. And everything I do, by the way, is right off the top of my head. I don't script anything. You know, the only scripted stuff is the news that I read out, which some people think are tweets, which is weird. Like, I still am kind of blown away by that guy telling me that I'm reading a tweet, that it's not the news, that I got my information from a tweet. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, my dude, this is a news article. As a matter of fact, this is why I display the headline right here. And I always try to keep in whatever publication it is so you can see where your news is coming from. I always do that. I even told him that's what I did. And shockingly enough, after I sent him that last comment, the reply to that comment, crickets. He never replied again. And we were going back and forth all day long. He would say something, I would say something back. He would say something. I don't know, there's like 8 or so replies on that comment, but it was fascinating. But I've rambled on for long enough, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.